Well, it's about that time. Good evening, everyone. You're listening to RedPill78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill News for Saturday Night Livestream. Tonight, my special guest is Thomas from TruReporting. Very happy to have Thomas here. It's been far too long since I've had him on my program. Thomas is a very busy man, so I want to thank him in advance for coming on and doing the program. Love you, Thomas. Hope everyone's had a good couple of days off. Didn't shop too hard today. We've got so much to go over tonight. We're going to be talking about the Gulf of Aden Vortex and more, because it's a big story. We are going to get into that after a very brief word from my sponsor. So please sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we will see you guys after the break. Is anyone out there stuck on a gift for the holidays? Well, here's your answer. This is the perfect gift for the patriot in your life. The President Trump Commander-in-Chief Solid Silver Coin. It's handcrafted in America for true Americans, and what a time to buy. Until December, Noble Gold are offering this incredible coin with a cool $10 off and a fantastic collector's display case, making an insane $17.95 saving on the price you'd normally pay. Go to TrumpCoin2020.com and select the Commander-in-Chief coin, and make sure to use the code RedPill7810 for this unbelievable discounted price. Whether it's for Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, or even Christmas. Don't miss this one. Hit the link or go to TrumpCoin2020.com and choose the Commander-in-Chief coin, and make sure to use the code RedPill7810 for this special discount. Welcome to the program, everyone. Please, if you have not gotten your Christmas shopping, Black Friday shopping done yet, for the rest of the day, Noble Gold is offering that $10 off with the free display case. Please consider supporting my sponsors, because without them, I really wouldn't be able to do this. You guys, we've got lots of people here in the chat already. I see Patriots from Atlantic City. I saw South Carolina. I saw Michigan. I saw Tennessee, Washington State, Oregon, Ohio, people from everywhere, Chicago, Baton Rouge, Texas, Tennessee, and it goes on and on. You guys, without further ado, please do welcome the one, the only, Thomas from TruReporting. Thomas, how are you, buddy?
What's up, man? How are you? How is everyone tonight? This is such a good topic. I'm really excited that we picked this, and we decided to go ahead and do it. So I'm stoked to be here. As always, we do this too far apart. We need to do it more often. I'm stoked about it, though.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And, I mean, if it wasn't for our mutually busy schedules, I'd say we'd probably be doing it a lot more. I just did a quick rearrange on the screen here. A little bit easier for me to look at you when you're over on that side of the screen.
That's right.
So, Thomas, I was inspired to have you come on the show and talk about this subject because you yourself did a segment on it. Ugh, sorry about that, guys. You yourself did a segment on it. The Gulf of Aden, the vortex in the Gulf of Aden. Now, this is one of those things you say to people, oh, yeah, there was a magnetic vortex in the Gulf of Aden, and the world rallied around it, and people kind of glaze over, and they look at you like, what are you talking about?
Right.
But this is actually something that happened, and this came out of the Global Intelligence Files, which was released by our friend Julian at the formerly journalistic organization WL. I don't really know what to categorize it as now, because we've heard all kinds of things, and until we hear differently, I'm going to believe that it's compromised. But do have one super chat to say. Von Z, where we go one, we go all. Thank you for that. And Mythical, hey, Thomas, good to see you. Prayers and love to you and your family. Yeah, Thomas, before we even get into this, man, I think we got to talk about what happened yesterday, bud, because I know a lot of people were worried. I saw a couple of people, just making comments in the chat before we started. So what happened, man? Is everything okay?
Everything's good. I'm glad we were able to address this. I had a show yesterday with Linda. Me and Linda do a Friday show, Beyond the Headlines, which is huge. It's doing so well. Had everything planned out. Got a call from my mom that my dad was not doing well, hospital, and it was high blood pressure. Sometimes things get misconstrued, and I had to leave. So 2.5 hour later drive, 2.5, I had to come back. extremely tired. But everything's okay. I thank everyone for really just the well wishes and caring, because it life for me recently, I think most people know, has been extremely stressful. It's up and down, up and down. So I'm fighting through it. I wouldn't never be able to do it without you, without Linda, without friends, without all the people who tune in, and the support is incredible. And again, I've reached out to Linda. I apologize to her. I know it was last minute, and so everything's okay. She was pretty much just extremely worried, but
Yeah.
everything's okay. We're back to straight and narrow, so we're good.
All right, glad to hear it. And I mean, I can completely understand the panic that ensues when you find yourself in a situation like that. I think anybody who's got family has had some type of a medical or a health emergency, and it unfortunately you drop everything. I mean, it's like, hey, you got to make sure that the ones that you love are safe and secure, and everything else has to come after that. It has to be secondary, because without your family, without the people in your life that you love, what is life? Is it worth living? I don't know, man. I mean, I think about people who don't have people, and why, shows like ours are so important, because if you don't have somebody very close to you that is right there in close proximity that you can rely on, that you can talk to, being able to come to a community of people that are like-minded and of a certain mindset, it really, really does help out.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I saw that my mom is here as well. Also, we do have another super chat. Somebody saying something about the explosion. Amy Gore says, prayers for my town and the damage from a refinery that blew up. We live 1.8 miles away and had to evacuate. Need lots of prayers to put our town back together. Very scary. Well, Amy, thanks for the super chat, and I'm sorry to hear about that. We are going to do a call-in in the second hour. If you want to call in and tell us what happened. I did hear about that a little bit.
You have not covered that?
I haven't. I mean, it was the holiday, and then I had my live stream last night, so the entire 2 hours was already, was filled up. So tonight, I definitely would like to go ahead and
there's something very weird about that.
Yeah. Well, hey. Well, I mean, why don't you tell me? Tell me what happened.
Yeah. So I believe that the DNC War Room, which I believe is a pretty good sized Twitter account, retweeted a chemical fire that exploded at a plant in Texas in 2013, about 6 hours before that actually happened.
You're kidding me.
I swear to you.
Yeah. Why does anything surprise me at this point?
Right. So I think it was a hit. I think it was to change, I don't know. I don't know why they do this. I think they do it because they like to project negativity. They like to release negativity and all that kind of stuff into the collective consciousness with doing this. And I think that they are allowed to do this because of just universal law. Like, they throw it out there. Why would they tweet this out there like that and then it happened? I don't know. It's either
I always see it as like a signal to others.
Correct.
I mean, like, there's obviously like a major release of some type of negative energy when something like this happens. I think they gather power from it. So I think maybe they send a signal out ahead of time, and then, people who are on the same page as them, part of the cabal or whatever you want to call it, then they can prepare. They can be, I mean, it's like, how often do we lead or, ask for calls for prayer? I mean, the power of prayer, people all over the world focusing on a single objective, and, people get better, good things happen. I think in the exact same way, evil takes advantage of that collective consciousness.
Well said. Well, big ups to your mom. She's such a nice person, and she did some stuff behind the scenes for me. So she's very sweet. So just hello.
Yes, thank you, Mom. And Peapod, I saw that you said both your parents were gone. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so lucky to still have my mom. When I lost my dad, it was 10 years ago. I mean, it was the worst thing that had ever happened to me in my life. So I mean, like, I know the pain of losing a parent, and it's really, really sad. So, well, let's talk here about the Gulf of Aden vortex.
Okay.
So this came out in They started publishing on February 27th of 2012. And what it was a cache of emails from Stratfor. It's a private intelligence company. So, large businesses, I believe some foreign governments. I wouldn't be surprised if there was, outsourcing of American intelligence work that is done by Stratfor as well. So they collect all this information. They put it out in like a paid newsletter for people who join at a certain level. And then they kind of do, big private investigative intelligence work for these large companies. Well, and here's some of them. Bhopal's Dow Chemical, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, and of course government agencies. Oh, and it does say U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Marines, and the DIA. So big stuff. But the Stratfor release, it shows a web of informers, payoff structures, payment, money laundering techniques, and psychological methods to gain intelligence, information from people. So some releases that I personally am not too surprised to learn are in there. I mean, these are the private communications of, it's a global private intelligence company. I would imagine they'd be doing these kinds of things. And there was also some stuff that came out in 2015 before the 2016 election that was, it was in these global intelligence files, but people didn't find it until the emails of one JP, the high-level advisor to Hillary Clinton and big campaign aide. Maybe he was running her campaign, something like that, but he was high-level in her campaign. There were some things that came out in regard to that Italian food controversy, but we can't say it on here. And
Right.
So people put that together, and it showed that there was even more in there. But until that point, this mysterious Gulf of Aden vortex was the most interesting thing that I saw in there. So you want to give us a quick rundown on what this is, Thomas?
Yeah. So apparently, okay. So WikiLeaks before WL, my bad. I got to get these keywords down. So, it validates that this is real to me. You see the big names, the big companies, Lockheed Martin, you have the Department of Defense, you have, and then we have JP in there, big names, big companies with validation. I believe that WL has before they were compromised. I also believe they're compromised.
Yeah.
Before had a 100% rating. They were never wrong.
Yeah.
Everything that they published has been 100% substantial. And you can verify that on Snopes because Snopes always says that they are always wrong. So you just go with the opposite of what Snopes says.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, yeah. So basically what took place there, I don't remember the years. It was maybe in the mid 2000s, maybe a little later. Apparently something was taking place in the Gulf of Aden, which is in the Middle East. And it's a very small place. Basically, you have, I believe it's like a trade route right there. That there's a lot of trade through shipping, and there's ports there and stuff like that. And it's just kind of like it's a pretty busy little area. And something was happening in the sky. So you have people, which I'm going to tie this together, which me and JC Parker 369. If you do not know who that is, it's my best friend. Please follow him on Twitter at JC Parker 369. One of the smartest people I've ever met. Anyway, so this vortex, if you want to call it, was appearing in the sky, and you have China and Russia, Saudi Arabia, America, Australia.
Basically every Western nation.
Every Western nation called them up. Hey, we got something going on. There's something going on in the sky, and we need to get these people to see this. So I guess the top military aides that we probably don't even know about. I mean, like people who are controlling these giant battleships who have probably technology that are 100 years in advance, whatever, we don't know. All these countries, even countries that don't, in quote, get along, pretty much that lays that whole thing to rest, because I believe these countries do get along. It's the DP or the DS that makes everything sort of cattywamped. Like we have the good and the bad.
Here's the thing is that people often they get caught up in this, us versus them. And I've talked about this on so many different occasions. It's like it's not necessarily good versus evil, except when we're talking about that super high level of the deep state versus the white hats. OK, like but that is projected upon individual nations, which then gets projected upon individual peoples. And, you don't have to look too far to realize that many people have just been brainwashed. I mean, just think about how many people here in the United States have so recently woken up to what's really going on.
Right. What I'm trying to say is like these countries, we all get along. We're all human. We all love each other, everything like that. But they create this like
division.
Correct. There is, but it's almost fabricated. It's not real. So it's like, you have these countries who, in our perception, hate each other. They're enemies. They go to war. They don't like each other. They have bad trade. Blah blah blah. But then when the S hits the fan, I believe like these higher upper echelon levels of military, they come together and they're like, well, we have to find out what in the hell is going on. We have to.
Right.
So they go to the Gulf of Aden. So imagine every Western civilization or country goes to this small port. And there's something in the sky, and they're told that they don't know what it is. They have no idea what it is. So I believe what they were trying to do is maybe go to war with whatever was coming through this vortex. And this is insane. I don't know if it was aliens. I don't know if it was some kind of, I don't know, AI or something, interdimensional being or, whatever. But it was it was a big enough threat that I think that they know about. Actually, I know they know about it. And they were going to go to war with this thing, with whatever it was. And it's all validated through WikiLeaks. This isn't some mythical story. This is validated with giant companies, high-end politicians, and all the countries, major countries going to this Gulf of Aden to figure out what is happening. And if that's not mind-blowing enough, like, I don't know what would blow your mind, that there's something happening in the sky, a vortex is opening, and you have giant battleships of all countries going there to defend planet Earth. I mean, this is a movie, but I guess we are watching a movie, right? I don't know. It's insane.
I mean, you have to imagine what could be a big enough threat that would be able to unite every navy on the face of the earth and to come to a single location. And when you look back in history, it's quite interesting because they stated that the reason for these nations uniting was because of Somali pirates. I'm sure everyone's seen the film Captain Phillips. I believe that was the name of it. But it was with Tom Hanks, and he was piloting a ship through the Gulf of Aden. The Gulf of Aden sits. Sorry about that. The Gulf of Aden sits directly between the tip of, or the northernmost point of Africa and I believe it's Saudi Arabia. So there's that Gulf right there, and somebody said Peapod. No, that was Peapod. That was the Manhattan experiment. We'll talk about that probably later in the program. But in this instance, Somali pirates were supposed to be so bad. Let's dig into that, okay?
Sure.
So who are Somali pirates? They are fishermen whose fish were no longer being caught, so therefore they had no source of income. And what they did was they started to rob other vessels that came through the Gulf of Aden. Now, Somalia is not a particularly rich country. It's also underdeveloped, shall we say. And there's been war there for, decades. So, who were these pirates that they were so sophisticated that we had to gain, the upper hand by bringing together every navy in the planet Earth? It's kind of crazy. So let's go through here and look at this, the emails that were released. So it looks like this is the title of this email, and it's from someone named Scott Stewart at Stratfor.com. I believe he's somebody pretty high up there at Stratfor. And the title is, mysterious vortex warned is creating global weather catastrophe. Now that adds another layer to it, the idea that this vortex is actually what's causing extreme weather phenomena, when we're being told that it's us, it's the West. And even you sweep past that and you look and you see who's really actually polluting the earth. Well, it's India, it's China, it's everywhere that we've outsourced our manufacturing to. The United States is not the country that is polluting this earth. And even for the pollution that is being put out, I don't think that it's going to be causing these crazy weather phenomena. I think it has a lot to do with other things. Real quick, Avery Jones, thank you very much for that super chat. Valerie Riddenauer says, the Great Awakening is upon us. Where we go one, we go all. PTL, praise the Lord, love it. And Warwolf says, check out Jason Advisory Group and or MITRE Group. Okay, we'll do a search for that. Somebody said grand solar minimum. That's correct. Mauricio for the win. The grand solar minimum and the grand solar maximum. The sun itself has seasons, shall you say. It'll have increases in solar activity, and then it'll have decreases in solar activity. People who know realize that you can track the patterns of the sun and the amount of solar radiation that it's pushing out, and you can actually apply it to the temperatures that are seen here on the Earth. Now, Thomas, getting back to this, the other thing is, it's not just some guy at Stratford talking about the idea that there's a vortex. It is a bunch of supporting information, articles from the time. I believe this is from 2010, December 7th, 2010. Scott sent this out. And it's got articles right here. The first one is mysterious vortex warned is creating global weather catastrophe. So let's go ahead and pull that up, and we'll see if it's even still a website. Yep, page has been removed. I wouldn't be surprised if most of these have been removed. And it says here, a bizarre report prepared for Prime Minister Putin by Admiral Maximov of Russia, Russia's Northern Fleet, states that a mysterious magnetic vortex currently centered in the Gulf of Aden has defied all the combined efforts of Russia, the United States, and China to shut it down, or even to ascertain its exact origin or cause of being. So that right there, blows my mind from the get-go, and it really does explain in my mind, how it would be that we would bring all of these superpowers together. We are supposed to be at, the mortal enemies. We grew up in the 80s, Thomas, so, back then it was the Cold War. We were doing duck and cover, and I always thought how stupid. If the nuclear weapon goes off, then, what, what does it matter if I put my book over my head and get under my desk?
So dumb.
It's over. But, we were raised with the idea that, we had this, global mortal enemy. We were not supposed to like Russia. We were not supposed to be friends with Russia. And they are trying to drum that thing up again. Now, I heard a theory the other day that governments believe that when we have a global foil, then it gives us something to unite around. If as Americans we can say we don't like Russia, so we need to push back against Russia and Russian influence, then that unites the country. And I think in a way it does, but I don't think it's healthy. Now, it says here that the Gulf of Aden is one of the most vital waterways in the world, located in the Arabian Sea. It's between Yemen and the southern coast of the Arabian Peninsula and Somalia. That's the Horn of Africa. So 21,000 ships sailing through its waters each year. So it's pretty important for commerce, okay? Like a lot of ships going through there, probably bringing, many, many, many supplies to and from that area. But according to this report, U.S. scientists noticing the formation of this vortex in late 2000, after which the Americans established a base of operations on the Horn of Africa in Djibouti. And that is correct. We can verify that. There is a base of operations there. The capital and the largest city of the Republic of Djibouti. Now, after the horrible attacks of September in 2001, Djibouti then became the home of the Combined Task Force Horn of Africa. And, I think that is now AFRICOM. It's evolved over the years. Yeah, we needed a boogeyman. We needed a boogeyman in order to rally around it. Same thing with after September when we went after Iraq. You know, everybody rallied around Iraq. Many people, even still today, some people seem to think that Iraq had something to do with that attack, even though clearly they didn't. Or, you know, they and I don't know. I don't see how anybody could not know that there was no WMDs there now at this point.
Right.
But so it says that it was discovered in November of 2000, and it was relatively stable when it was discovered in November of 2000. But the vortex began to expand in late 2008, prompting the United States to issue an extraordinary warning to the entire world about this mysterious occurrence, and which, in response, the United Nations rushed the naval forces to this area. So these are all the countries that went there. The Royal Australian Navy, the Belgian Navy, the Bulgarian Navy, the Canadian Navy, the People's Liberation Navy, that would be China, Royal Danish Navy, French Navy, German Navy, Greek Navy, Indian Navy, Islamic Republic of Iran Navy, Italian Navy, Royal Malaysian Navy, Royal Netherlands Navy, Pakistan Navy, Portuguese Navy, the Royal Saudi Navy, the Russian Navy, the Republic of Singapore, the Spanish Navy, the Swedish Navy, the Royal Thai Navy, the Turkish Navy, the British Royal Navy, and of course the United States. So what interests me here is the timing. 2008, late 2008, shortly after Barry Obama takes office. And there was a lot of weird stuff that was happening. Now, one thing that also strikes me about this, Thomas, is that this was not the only vortex, if you will, that we're seeing. There was a big one in Norway. We're going to look at some video footage of that because we've got that. There was another one in Mexico. There was another one in, I can't remember where. I've got it queued up here. But they all had this unique spiral look to that. Do you remember seeing those?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to add to this
Please.
is that you named, 15 Navy groups? And okay, so we're gonna get all these people for Somalia pirates who jump aboard ships with machine guns, but you need every navy on the planet to defend against a third world country.
Exactly.
Guys jumping aboard with handguns.
Yeah.
No,
it
absolutely
makes no
not.
sense.
The backstory is garbage.
Yeah.
It's so much. It's so many lies to it.
Yeah,
Doesn't hold weight.
It doesn't make any sense. Filled with Hope says, OMG, my husband has captained that area of the world and does Captain Phillips' job. Captain Phillips' crew sued him. The piracy is well known. Everything he did was reckless and put his crew at risk. Rant done. Now, that's pretty interesting. I had no idea that took place. Obviously, Hollywood wanted to create a hero in Captain Phillips. You know, maybe the only reason they made that movie was to obscure the truth of what happened in the Gulf of Aden. So, saying that this was the pretext that they needed to protect the Gulf of Aden from Somali pirates. And it says here, who are actually nothing more than lightly armed youngsters looking for food since this mysterious
Correct.
vortex has destroyed their fishing waters. Admiral Maximov states in the report that this buildup is the largest of its kind in human history, certainly the largest that I've ever heard of, and that Russia is prepared to join with the Americans to defeat what many world officials believe is an attack upon our planet by forces previously unknown, but described as possibly being what? Interdimensional or extraterrestrial beings. Now,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So on this note,
Yeah.
what does this make me think of? This made me think back to what Ronald Reagan said. Back in the day, he said, in quote, perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. Ronald Reagan was wishing an alien invasion on Earth because of the Cambodia effect it would have on relations among nations. I believe that all nations are good, but the deep state makes the perception that we're not, but
It's
we
the
really
leadership.
are.
It's
And
the
it's just
leadership.
showing that. It's showing that. With the vortex, we all came together to defend Earth.
Yes. So yeah, that's a great analogy to make there. I love that quote from Ronald Reagan. Always love that. Now, one of the things that I want to say here, guys, and this is relating to, not necessarily this show, but, show that I did last night. The views and opinions of my guests do not always necessarily represent the views and opinions of myself or the show. And in this case, but here's the thing. We can't get to the truth if we're not willing to ask questions, okay? So I am not willing to be closed-minded enough or arrogantly closed-minded enough to believe that I know everything as it is, truly exists. So something like this, although, maybe the idea of interdimensional or extraterrestrial beings like kind of blows my mind in my world, paradigm view, I'm willing to look into this because this is pretty crazy. Like I said, this source right here, Stratfor, the global intelligence files from our friends at WL. This is a pretty big deal. This is not like we're pulling up a Sorcha Fall article or something like that.
No.
And people send me what does it mean articles all the time, guys. And I'm going to tell everyone right now, I don't believe those. I do think that that's disinformation. It's cleverly disguised disinformation. And I hate to bust anybody's bubble because I know that there are people who really love it. It can be good reading. It can be fun sometimes. So it says that ever since the Vortex began an extraordinary series of expansions that for the first time since its discovery were preceded by earthquakes. And important to note that there are estimated 40 to 60 earthquakes that occurring in the Gulf of Aden this past month or so, the first to have occurred in the region in all of modern recorded history. So that means there's no fault lines there. They've never had any earthquakes there.
Right.
Why all of a sudden is there 40 to 60 earthquakes in the span of a month? Katie Forston says, the minute Tom Hanks showed up in the film, you can bet the film serves to manipulate the narrative. Absolutely. I could not agree more. So this report further states that all of those earthquakes have ranged between 4.5 and 5.4 on the Richter scale and are almost all on or around 10 kilometers in depth and are strangely linked to the mysterious reappearance of the planet Jupiter's southern equatorial belt stripe that disappeared this past May. Okay, so now we're bringing, cosmology into it. Do you got any thoughts on that, Thomas?
It's just too many happenings at one time. You're on a fault line, then there's earthquakes. 40 earthquakes where there's not a fault line. Never happened. These things have never happened there in modern history. And now Jupiter's rings are fading. Was it fading in or fading out? What was it?
Yeah, it's so they disappeared. So
this has to correlate some. Here we go. Yeah. Okay.
So and here's my thing about cosmology, planets, and the energy in the universe. This is a big place, and we know that there is such a thing as electromagnetic energy. The planet has magnetic poles. There are, I'm a big subscriber to the electric universe theory, which states that, everything is electric, and it does explain a lot of things that are, unexplainable in physics. It's a deep subject, and there's this guy, Walt Thornhill, and a couple of people at Electric Universe that I would love to interview because I don't fully understand it. I do think CERN comes into play here, guys. Yes, I do think CERN comes into play, definitely. But I think that the extra, galactic bodies, they all have some type of energy, some type of innate energy, in the same way that the earth holds energy, in the same way that people hold energy. I believe that we are spiritual, energetic beings with physical bodies that are temporary. And I think that if you think about it in that way, then I don't think that many people can disagree with me there. I mean, unless you're an atheist and you don't believe that there's anything after this. But, energy cannot be extinguished. It merely just changes form. It goes from one form to another. So
you're saying the planets are alive?
Well, I mean, it depends on what you define as being alive. I think that there is energy that exists in everything. Like, we are animated through the energy in our bodies. The planets are moving, and they inherently have energy because they are producing electromagnetic energy. So I think that if there is some type of major energetic change taking place on Earth, then it could make sense that it would also have an effect on another planet here in our solar system. Now, though the information contained in this report is being blacklisted among all of the world's mainstream media, the same cannot be said of alternative news sites, some of which have speculated that the Gulf of Aden vortex may very well be a stargate opening up into our world from a dimension and or world we know nothing about. Now, here's how I feel, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this too. I think that physics has shown that there are many other dimensions besides our first, second, and third dimensions that we can perceive and measure. There are other dimensions that exist, and I think that it's very possible that there are other beings that exist outside of that dimension. If you think about heaven, the afterlife, what if that is simply another dimension of existence that exists outside of our realm of perception? And the reason we go there when we die is because that is the change, the change that happens to our energetic forms. And Red Pill Doc says Q trip code search on Google pulls up at least 2 astrological books. I've heard that the trip codes do pull up things, and I do find that fascinating.
Remember when Jordan covered that?
I do. I remember that. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, that was there's something. I don't know. I believe there was something to that, but that's getting off topic. But
it's very possible. Mm-hmm. I'm not ruling everything out. Let's see. So, okay, so Peapon says that it is in Genesis, Red Pill. That is why God is omnipresent. That's right. Existing everywhere, but not perceivable by us at all times. So you've got... okay, wait, hold on. I lost my spot here. So the same cannot be said. Okay, the Stargate. Okay, so but the interdimensional beings. What if, and if you think about... of what they're doing at CERN. That's what I wanted to go. I wanted to go into CERN on this because I've heard before that the scientists at CERN are trying to harness some type of interdimensional force or bring something into existence. If you look back to the start of NASA with Jack Parsons, he was in there, with L. Ron Hubbard and with Aleister Crowley. They started NASA as some type of satanic organization. When I have the guys from Fourth Dimension Films on in a couple weeks, we're going to be talking about this subject in depth. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think they were trying to create something to battle God. I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to, if you think of NASA, you think of CERN. I do, and if you look into Aleister Crowley or Crowley or whatever however you want to pronounce it, and Jack Parsons. Yeah, these people are demonic. They're trying to bring that here to appease what they are worshiping.
I think that you're totally right, and the video is not suitable for viewers. Okay, so doesn't matter what we say now, basically. But I think
what happened?
No, the video got demonetized. I don't know what we said, but yeah, I know. It's just what happens, dude. It's what happens. So I think that you're right. I think that it's very possible that whatever happened in the Gulf of Aden was brought about by these people. There was, I was looking up, what happened, like the timeline of things at CERN. And I'd thought that CERN, just came on in, this 21st century, but they were building it for decades, like since the 70s or something like that. Or there was some piece of CERN that was there and it just kept going. And now they've got all of these, a much larger, Large Hadron Collider, and they've, been doing experiments now that are on a much larger scale. This right here, this could be what caused this rift in space-time. This incredible harnessing of energy could tear open a doorway into another dimension.
Yes. Am I supposed to answer that?
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there, bud.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree. See, this whole thing with like the interdimensional and like opening like vortexes and stuff, this is like another thing. My second favorite conspiracy. This isn't a theory. It is a real thing. That when you have D-Wave, you have CERN using D-Wave. They're using it together. I guess D-Wave is its own thing. CERN is its own entity as well. Then you have
Wait, you're talking about the quantum computer D-Wave?
Yes, D-Wave.
Okay.
Yes. And how they're trying to pull, again, to reiterate what I said before, they're trying to pull something into this realm to hold it here, to keep that doorway open so that they can appease what they consider their God. Like, obviously these people are possibly not people. And we can get into that if you want to, but I think it's dead end. But if you look into D-Wave and how they're using this quantum computer, it's amazing how these quantum computers are out there. You know, how many you talked about Project Looking Glass, quantum computer. We have D-Wave, which is a quantum computer that's trying to hold open a portal. And meanwhile, we're driving around fossil fuel cars as plebs. It's just, it's so unbelievably frustrating to even think that way. But anyways, it's this whole, I think both of those tie into each other. I think this D-Wave and CERN, and then you have the Gulf of Aden. I believe it could be very well connected. There's something going on with those two stories.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's out of the question to consider that they could be related. A Pool said, F demonetization. Thank you, A Pool. I appreciate that. And then Melissa Bush says, demonetize this. Thank you both for the super chats. I appreciate the support.
Literally, we have not said anything wrong.
Yeah. I mean, this is what happens. Like, every time I do a stream, I used to be able to get away with it when I first started. And at a certain point, it was February or March of this year, they give me about 10 minutes. And if anything gets said that's even remotely, it could have been WL. Just saying
could have
that,
been. My bad.
No, it's all good, brother. It's all good. So apparently they talk about here in the email that there was another site in Danhui, China. One such site, The Truth Behind the Scenes. This is one of the articles that was written that notes that another remarkable coincidence, or rather synchronicity, is that this series of earthquakes in the Stargate fell on the very day on which the Webbots and Time Wave Zero both showed a tipping point indicated. And it says that there was another site in Danhui from China, and they state about the Stargate hypothesis. Internet users have recently been concerned with news that the Gulf of Aden Stargate rumors claim that as early as December 9th, 2009, a spiral of blue light like a computer-generated image suddenly appeared in the sky over northern Norway. And this is where they bring in the Norway spiral.
Computer-generated image.
Well, that's China. They're trying to spin that for us. Dylan McConnell says, demons try and accumulate quantum entanglements to HE double hockey stick in their hosts. That's probably what CERN is doing. If that means what I think it is, Dylan, I think that you could be right. Melissa Bush says, Trump says we are the news. Spelled FPHUAC. You guys can figure that one out. YouTube censorship. Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate it. Jack Attack says, thank you. Where we go one, we go all. Trump train, swamp, stomp. Thank you. And that is correct. And then Dylan, Dylan, you said the same thing. But, well, thank you for sending it twice, Dylan. I appreciate that. I think that you're right. I think that they are trying to amass some type of power, allowing them to do this kind of thing, I mean, like bring these creatures or these beings across these interdimensional gateways. Or one thing that I had heard is that Jack Parsons, he died, many years ago, but before he died, they had been trying to open up a portal like this. He opened the portal and then he died and he was unable to close it. And so this could be fallout from that. Now, I know it's many years later, but if we're talking about an interdimensional crossover, time might exist in a completely different way. It could have happened yesterday for them. Now, here, I did want to show you guys the Norway spiral. Let's go ahead and take a look at this video, you guys. So check, hang on, let me mute it. But here we go. So this was in Norway, and at the time, it was stated that this was a missile test gone wrong. Now, I want you guys to look at this. They have
the worst excuses.
Yeah, because it just does not look like it. It looks like it's an energetic projection, like something that could be caused by, some type of, HARP device. Jack Parsons blew himself up. Thanks, Gil. Now, that spiral just continues out, but look in the center here. There is this stable blue beam that's being pushed through the center, and the spiral just continues. Now, if this was a missile launch gone wrong, I can't believe that it would remain so uniquely symmetrical. And then once it leaves, that blue spiral in the center remains. It's like if this is smoke and that dissipates out, why is this blue light
because it's
still
open?
Exactly. Because, yes, and somebody said Project Bluebeam. I definitely considered that perhaps, this had something to do. Like, if this was something that
I don't think it's Bluebeam.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's something. This is something to fear. That is very intense to even look at that.
Yeah,
Project Bluebeam can go to hell. That's not. Yeah, that's nothing to me. This is something that is. They're really trying to do something with this.
I think that they were. And, I mentioned the coincidence, the timing, 2008, late 2008. Like I said, that's right after Barry came into office. Imagine if these people, I think, that clearly they were stepping up whatever it was that they were doing at that time. Now, so that was in northern Norway. I don't think that was a computer-generated image. Now, it says that a month after the spiral disappeared, a massive magnetic field that appeared in the Gulf of Aden opened up a wormhole or Stargate. The rumor said that the multinational military escort in the Gulf of Aden, ostensibly there to fight Somali pirates, is actually working to explore the Stargate and distant galaxies millions of light years away.
Can you post that link? And I think people want to know where they can watch that video.
Yes, I can definitely.
Why did you mute it, by the way? Is somebody talking in it?
Well, no, I mean, it's just I didn't know what they were. I wanted us to be able to talk over it. I don't think that
somebody said that there was it was making noise or something.
I don't know about any noise, but if anybody, when you call in here later in the show, guys, if you have any information about that Norway spiral, then by all means, you guys, I definitely want to talk about it. Here, let me go ahead and I'm going to remove that right here, and I'll just pop it down there separately so we can go look at it later. Now, so
I've never seen that, by the way.
You haven't? Oh,
I've never.
Wow.
I've seen another video. I have not seen that.
That was the first one that I remembered. That was in 2009, so it was shortly after this email was sent, or I guess maybe that happened first, and then this Gulf of Aden email comes out because he does talk about it right there. Now, it says that there is a man named Professor Wang Xichao at the Purple Mountain Astronomical Observatory, an authority on UFO research in China, said of the phenomenon, "This Stargate theory is not credible. It has no basis in astronomy or the facts." Now, to what the truth is that lies beyond the mysterious Gulf of Aden vortex, it is not in our knowing, other than to point out Admiral Maximov's warning in his report that since these earthquakes have begun, our planet's northern hemisphere's jet streams have nearly collapsed, plunging vast regions of the world into weather chaos. And as we can read here, and then it goes through a bunch of different articles talking about the strange weather occurrences that were taking place in that time.
Did you see what your mom said?
No, what'd she say?
She said someone was in Norway and saw it.
Someone in the chat was in Norway and saw it?
Yes.
Okay. Whoever that is, please, I want you to call in if that person, can that person post their email address so that I can, post your email address.
What's up, Ron Shekelson? What's up?
So that I can send this over. So I can send over the Zoom link because I would like to have you in on this conversation. I want to know about what you saw. So there's strange weather in Britain. There's strange weather in the United States. All of these countries coming together. Then they even talk about WikiLeaks here. They talk about the danger of WikiLeaks. To what is contained in the United States secret Gulf of Aden vortex file WikiLeaks has in its possession and is threatening to release, it is not in our knowing. So they're acknowledging here another another
Just
file.
validates it.
Yeah, that validates it. It's supposedly in the possession of WikiLeaks. That never came out, because if you go and search for the Gulf of Aden on WikiLeaks, it's not there. Just going to show you guys that. Love in Texas says, today I was able to red pill my new neighbor on Q. Gave him my Q, The Great Awakening book. Awesome. He is a big Trump fan and had not heard of Q. Him and his family are refugees from California. My first Q
Jealous,
red pill.
man.
That is so cool.
Imagine imagine being able to go back and being like going through all the the posts and all that. Oh my God. I'm very jealous of that.
Yeah. How
he says
cool
he
is
has
that?
no microphone. The guy from Norway.
Okay. Yeah. Where did you see it? He says he has no microphone.
Your mom's talking about, yeah.
Oh, okay. Has no microphone. Okay. All right. All right. Well, guys, I am going to drop the link to this in the chat, and then I'm also going to put it into the description of the video.
He sent you a DM on Twitter.
Alf. Okay. Well, Alf, I mean, the idea is it's difficult for me to DM and
Sure.
participate in the conversation here. So how about this? You can send me an email, Al. Excuse me. You can send me a DM, Alf, and we will work on having you call in some way. If you have a phone, you can call in by phone, and that would be amazing. I would really like to hear about what you saw. How cool is that?
That's amazing. Wow. What are the coincidences of him being in this chat and us talking about
His phone has a mic. Okay, Alf, in that case, then I am going to send you the link to the call, and you can go ahead and join. You have to have Zoom downloaded on your phone. You guys, I'm just going to have to turn off the screen here for a second so I can log into Twitter and send this to Alf. Alf, make sure you send me a message on Twitter right now so that I can go ahead and send this to you. Okay. Let's see. All right. Warwolf. I got a message from Warwolf. I got so many messages to go through on Twitter. It's incredible.
Got a good crowd in here too.
Yeah. It's a good show tonight, you guys. I really appreciate everybody being here and participating in this with us. I love this stuff. I love being able to just riff on it and say, what if? I mean, because I don't know. I really don't know. Hey, there you are, Norwegian Viking. Accept. And here is the link, Alf. There you go, buddy. Get in on this call. Let's hear about what you saw in...
He's calling?
He's going to call in, yeah, on Zoom.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
So stoked to hear what this guy has
Alf,
to say.
I'm really excited. Thank you. I'm so glad that we decided to cover this and that you are here to see this tonight, you guys.
Man, what are the coincidences of that, man?
Well,
somebody randomly from Norway saw this and they're...
Yeah, they were there,
meant to be, man. This is...
So I've got all these articles talking about this. Okay, so here, you guys, this is a picture. I don't know if this is the same. No, this is the one in Russia. Okay, so that was the other place. There was one in Norway, and then there was one in Russia. Or maybe this is the same one now that I'm looking at it. But it looks different. That blue spiral in the center looks totally different. But it's the same type of thing that we saw in that video. Now, this is a series of images, you guys. I just went on Google Images and I searched for Norway Vortex. Very, very cool stuff. And talking about, energy in the sky, here we have the Northern Lights. Have you ever seen the Northern Lights in person, Thomas?
No.
It's incredible, all right?
But that is not the Northern Lights. What we just watched, that video is not what...
No, it's not. And that's why I bring it up, because if you've seen the Northern Lights and you have seen... the Norway spiral, or any of these various vortexes, then you will know that you are not looking at the same thing. It's absolutely not the same thing. I believe that this is a whirlpool. This is the largest man-made whirlpool. Here is quite the scientific breakdown of that Norway spiral, showing the diameter of how large it gets. Alf, where are you, buddy? You should just be able... Let me see if he is... Let me see if he's here.
Remember that movie, what is it, Contact? Didn't they do something like this?
Contact.
In that movie?
Yeah, they did.
With Jodie Foster?
He's downloading it right now. Great. I mean, the idea was that they were in the film. I think they were given some type of schematic for a communications device, and they were building it so that they could, make contact with extraterrestrials or something like that.
I thought they were like trying to build a portal. Maybe I haven't seen the movie in so long. I'm going to watch that tonight.
All right. So Michael Kenny says, in regards to the vortex, it could be a naturally occurring Earth spot that develops as a side effect of the weakening of the magnetic field pole shift. Well, I'm willing to accept that could be a possibility, except in this case, they said that it was from a missile test. Alf, you're on the air, buddy. You're going to have to make sure that you set your microphone properly. Can you hear us? I've got no sound from you, Alf. You may need to go to your settings and make sure that your microphone is selected in Zoom. While we're waiting on Alf to get that going, I want to go right here to this article from highpants.net. Anomalous spiral lights in the sky are appearing around the world. This is from 2014. Now, it starts off with the Norway spiral in December of 2009. So this was a massive story at the time, and I'm always surprised when I hear that people haven't heard of this before. But the question was echoed around the world by every news and cable channel. The story very quickly went viral, and you may have assumed the phenomenon was a once-off, especially if you watch cable news. But the truth is, they continue to occur to this day. It was not a one-time thing. The Norway anomalous spiral incident was after a few months explained as a failed rocket test carried out by Russia, and then the story went quiet. Now, this explanation didn't sit well with many people, and it raised more questions than answers. How is it possible for a rocket to spin in place and burn up for nearly 10 minutes straight? That's more time than it had fuel for. And then there's also the fact that the rockets are set to a self-destruct mechanism to stop out-of-control rockets from slamming back to Earth and causing potentially massive damage. Alf, are you there, bud?
Yes, hello.
Hello. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
Hello, USA.
Yes. Welcome. Are you calling from Norway?
Yes, I'm calling from Harstad, Norway.
Okay.
At the same town where that photo you were showing is from, actually.
All right. Well, can you tell us what happened when that spiral vortex appeared? What were you doing, and did you see it from the beginning, or did you run outside and you heard people making a commotion? What was it like?
Okay, so this was early morning, I think about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was on my way to work with my driver, or I was driving with another man that was going to work at the same area.
Carpool. So, you were carpooling.
Yes. And it was very dark. It's very dark here in the winter, so it was a very bright sight, this phenomenon. It was like first a missile coming over the sky, and suddenly it just started spinning around, and we were watching this and wondering what this was. So and I could feel a little bit scared, because this is nothing we have seen before, and it lasted for about 10 minutes spinning, something like that, before it stopped. And after the bright white vortex stopped spinning, there was like a blue beam coming down from the center of this spiral. So that was what we witnessed. Yeah.
Now, when you saw it with your own eyes, I imagine that must have been quite shocking for you. Did you and your driving partner, did you guys stop the car, or did you just continue to drive and just freak out with each other?
No, we didn't freak out. We were quite calm, but we wondered what this was. In the beginning, it was not so scary, but as we approached the town, we could see it just continued spiraling out like this. That's the film or the picture you were showing there.
Right. Now, was there an official statement that came from authorities in the wake of this spiral appearing? I mean, was the government or were the authorities talking about it and trying to tell people what was happening?
Yeah, that it was a lot of coverage of this, and if you search the internet, you can find small videos of it from different perspectives, from Tromsø to Harstad and out in Lofoten. The media was covering it, but they were not sure what it was. So the expert analysis of this phenomenon was that was a Russian missile that has been fired from Kula, or I don't know the English name for it.
Sure. Now, someone asked him, excuse me, someone corrected me. It wasn't NASA that Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard and these guys started. It was JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratories, which I believe spawned NASA eventually. Now,
I have a question for Alf.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Alf, what was your initial, we all have our intuition that we would, our initial thought of, were you fearful? Did this not sit with you very well, internally? Were you, sometimes if something's around, I mean, was it admitting something maybe a negative feeling? What do you think about that? Anything like that?
Well, the initial feeling was this is something not normal. I felt that it could be something extraterrestrial, and I was just looking forward to check the news and see what it was. But yeah, I think we all kind of felt a little bit disappointed it was just a rocket, because we felt it was maybe something more. But yeah.
Well,
so just
Alf, do you really believe the official story, though, that this was just a rocket?
Well, I did believe so.
Yeah.
Until we started digging into CERN and all those things, and I've been thinking about it. And perhaps a week ago, I posted this picture again on my Facebook. I'm not sure if I believe the official story. I'm not sure what this was. But yeah. I've been thinking about it lately.
Yeah. Well,
you would think something emitting that much energy would make people get sick or something. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I think that we are. I mean, imagine all of the energy, the different waves, and energy for Wi-Fi, for our cell phones, for the various communication frequencies, radio waves. All of that stuff is coursing through us all the time. And I think maybe, it definitely has a deleterious effect on us. But I think people are used to kind of feeling like crap now. People just, you kind of wake up and you slog through the day, and that's just how life is. Let's see. Tanette Booth says, Alf, did it look like the film that I showed? That was what I showed. That was the same thing you saw, correct, Alf?
Yeah, it is just the same.
Just the same.
And when you see this film, you can also see it last for a very long time. If this was like fuel burning, shouldn't it just go away? It's stored.
Yes, exactly. That was my biggest point there. Now, A Pool says,
great question from Michael.
Yeah, we're going to that one, but I need to. So A Pool says the one in Norway saw a breakdown of the direction of the blue light behind, and there, in fact, was one of the many HARP installations in the exact direction which it came from. I had heard that, A Pool. I saw a breakdown of that as well. Now, Alf, are you aware of what is near there in terms of a military base or anything? I mean, I know Norway is, relatively close to Russia, isn't it? You guys are kind of, neighbors. But does Russia maintain military presence in Norway, or do they share any military installations?
No, we don't have any Russian close to Norway, but we have an American military base in that direction by our airport.
Okay.
It's a NATO American base there. It's in the mountain, but it's nothing externally.
Okay, all right. And Tanet Booth, we answered that. Michael Kenny says, did it feel like it was in our atmosphere or like it was really far out past the moon type of distance? Did it seem like it was in close proximity to you, Alf, when you saw this appear in the sky?
Yes, it felt close, but seeing the videos from Tromsø, which is 300 kilometers away, then you can see that it's actually quite a distance away. So
okay.
So I think it's probably over Sweden or Finland or something like that.
Okay,
But,
all right.
I can't be sure.
Finland's the one that's close to Russia. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, we have borders to
Yeah.
Russia as well up north in Kirkenes.
I always think about, because they're like, it's like three fingers almost when I think about the map. So that's how I was thinking about it. So, Alf, had you ever heard of spirals like this appearing previously? Did this ring any bells for you, or was this the first time you'd ever seen a phenomena like this?
This is the first time. I've never seen it or heard about it, and yeah, I don't know anything about that other than what I saw. So
okay, guys, in the article that I was pulling up while we were waiting for you to get your mic working, they've got video of other spirals. There was another one that took place in Russia in 2006. There was another one, it says, over a place called Byron Bay. I don't know where that is. And then, of course, we had the Norway one. And then here is one in China, lights in China. So we're going to go ahead and play this. Alf, if you've got the stream going in the background so that you can watch this too, there will be a slight delay before it pops up.
Let me say something real quick. Everyone is asking, Alf, was there a sound or vibration or anything like that?
No, it was actually no sound. We were driving and we kind of reduced the speed of the car. And we tried to listen if there was any sound like that, but we couldn't hear anything. So it was just like a visual phenomena for us.
Right. So that doesn't that kind of rule out it being a missile?
Right.
Well, that depends on how far it is away. Sound takes some time to travel. If it was like 100 kilometers away, of course, it will be very hard to hear it.
Now, many people have told me that Byron Bay is in Australia. And then someone just stated, Heather says Sweden is where the largest CERN facility is located. I bet that's where it came from. Are you aware of the presence of CERN in that area?
No, I haven't heard about CERN in Sweden, actually. But
okay.
Who knows? I don't think it's so far north because we are the northernmost in Norway here.
Right,
so.
Right. Okay. So, so my mom says it's in Switzerland. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, here, let's go ahead and take a look at this this video. Okay, so this is from Russia right here, and it is similar. It looks different to me, though. Now, right now, it appears to just be, something spreading, but now it kind of starts to change, and I believe that it becomes a spiral, an ever-widening spiral.
This is the one I saw.
This is the one from Russia in 2006. So there it is right there. Now, at first, I thought that it did kind of look like it could have been a missile, but it changes there at the end.
This is unbelievable.
Unfortunately, that one is a little short. But yes, it's Switzerland. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Love how we can fact check each other and help out. Let's see. Necromancy or Cernomancy. Yeah, another thing about the CERN connection is that, they've had some really strange rituals taking place there. When they opened, they had like a large television screen with like a demonic goat head up there. They had people dancing in strange costumes. They have that statue of Shiva there. They did.
Can we watch that?
Yes, we can watch
cool.
that. Let's go ahead. Let me finish with the spiral videos here, and then we'll go ahead and watch the CERN video next. Well, Alf, do you have anything else that you can think of that we should know about this, bud?
No, I've been all over the place looking for clues about this lately, and the only thing I can find is Russia fighting the Anunnaki. I don't know if that is relevant.
That's a good one. I like it. All right, Alf. Well, thanks for calling in, buddy. I do appreciate it. And thank you
Very
for
cool,
watching
man.
as well, for sure.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoy these shows because they are my only friend in the Q community. Not many people around here is awake yet.
Well, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, I'm glad that we're all here for each other and that we can connect over such great distances because I know exactly what it's like. I know exactly what it's like. All right. Well, listen, I just followed you on Twitter. So if you get any more tips or if you find anything cool that you want to talk about, man, you can hit me up.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep. No problem. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye-bye.
See you later, Alf.
Bye-bye.
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 Okay. So let's
Very
watch.
cool.
Man, I'm so happy that he was watching.
He added, man. He validated that really took place. There's no sound.
Yeah.
Makes me rule out that was a missile.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say with the spirals is that the proportion or between each ring is so precise.
It was concentric. It was perfect.
It seems so it's symmetrically perfect.
Yeah.
It just does not. There's just something so weird about it. I don't know if I want to use the term would that make it more artificial?
I would think so. I mean, I would think if it was just a randomly exploding rocket that it would just kind of be all over the place. But,
right.
I mean,
exactly.
It stated here that they had self-destruct mechanisms so that they would just immediately blow up all at one piece. So let's go ahead and watch the one from Byron Bay. Byron Bay. And, it's already looking good. Here we go. Thomas, do you got this pulled up?
Yeah, I'm watching the stream. I'm watching everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Byron Bay. Another spiral. Oops. Hold on. I don't want to get a copyright strike.
Excuse me.
All right. So another spiral in the sky. Kind of grainy. But still the same type of similar phenomena. You would also think if it was an explosion that it would be more than just that single focused point of light, right? Do we have any viewers from Australia, from Byron Bay, that can go ahead and give us a call if they've seen this? That would be great if we had somebody from Australia that had seen this.
This is in Australia?
Yes, this one is from Byron Bay, Australia. Okay. And this is almost 3 minutes long. I'm actually gonna speed this up a little bit.
Just peel through it.
Yeah. Playback speed.
That is not a missile, by the way.
No.
I don't know what that is. That right there kind of, that looks like something almost UFO-ish.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look like your typical missile. I mean, I was watching the Challenger disaster happen live, and what took place there was chaotic. It was messy.
I agree. Nathan in the chat says there's too much symmetry for a faulty rocket or weapon test. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Anybody out there from Australia who happened to witness the Byron Bay incident, please do give us a shout out in the chat. Maybe we can get you on the call. Now, they mention Project Bluebeam in this article. Project Bluebeam is theorized to be a HARP-based technology. I can totally see that. Okay, so let's see. Karen Reeves says the missile self-destruct... Shoot, I just lost it. The missile self-destruct I saw had no sound and created a green kinetic energy spiral. Okay, Karen. I would like to get more information on that one. So here, let's see. Okay, here's another one from China. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Yeah.
All right. So another spiral. This one a little bit more messy. See, I tend to think that this one, well, gosh, I don't know. That's kind of strange looking too. Green. Oh, wow. Very interesting. Different look, still a different look. Oh, did you see that blue light?
Yes.
That was different. First time we've seen something like that, but again, that looked like it changed directions. Did you see that?
Go back.
Okay, you guys, pay
Is this
close.
the same thing over and over again?
No. This is, I think, a couple different things. Watch this, you guys. It's clearly spiraling to the right. That was a blue light spiraling to the right, and then to the right.
The very end, it went opposite.
Yes. Yes, it just changed directions. All right. I'm not a physicist. I'm not an engineer. But that doesn't seem possible to me, that it would be spinning with such force and speed.
What?
And then go back in the opposite direction. Whew, that looked like a shock
Right
wave.
here is so slow. All right, to the right and then back to the left.
Yeah. Wow.
That's not natural.
Yeah. That was cool.
I have chills.
Here's one that appeared over New Mexico, guys.
And there's my dad. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. Here comes New Mexico. Any Patriots from New Mexico
in the
witness
States.
this?
Okay. Let's see what this is.
Yeah.
And you know that they have.
Oh, look at that.
There's military stuff out there.
Oh, yeah.
It's delayed, so I'm still waiting.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah.
That almost looks like the reverse of the Norway spiral, but still, that's a spiral. Now, here's the thing. The smoke rings appear to have luminescence themselves, which...
That looks just like the one in Norway.
It does. And look there, you can see the blue beam in the center.
Yes.
Okay, once again, you can see that.
Is this not the same video from earlier?
No, this is not the same video. This is a different one. The spiral is, it's fatter, okay? You have a different type of blue beam in the center. But this is the thing that got me, is that this, there is luminescence to this smoke. Now, the explosion itself would have luminescence, but the smoke itself would not have light being emitted from it.
I don't know why, but I just kind of go look through the chat. And again, Nathan Elder, very strange. I saw his comment again. He says, watching this, what did he say? Watching this is making me feel uneasy. Huh. I feel the same way, bro. Not having good vibes, witnessing these events. I don't like this either, to be honest. That's why I wanted to get that out of Alf. I was like, did it make you feel something about that does not make me feel good.
I think that the implications of it are quite scary. What I'm going to do for you guys now is I'm going to drop the link to this article in the chat, and then I'm also going to put it into the description of the video if you miss it going by in the chat, okay? Now, we've got a couple more pieces of coverage that I wanted to bring up. We've got over 3,000 people watching here tonight, Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like I'm glad you guys are all here with us. This is pretty cool. Hey, if you haven't yet, guys, if you wanted to help out the show, do make sure you leave a like. Make sure that you subscribe. If you are not subscribed, if you think you're subscribed, go ahead and check and make sure that you haven't been unsubscribed. And if you would also be so kind as to select that notification bell and then make sure that notifications are turned on for YouTube in your phone, so that way you can be notified as soon as I put out a new video every day. Now, we do have another super chat. Let me go to that. I think we got a couple here. Michael Kenny says, smoke that high up would be lit up by the sun before the camera on Earth. Well, you know, also, but I guess we don't know how high it is, and we don't know. I mean, and it was dark. I mean, there was no sunlight there.
Yeah,
the one in
sun.
California looked exactly like this and also made no sound with the same color blue. Thanks for showing this. Okay, sweet.
What's up, Dana?
Yeah, Dana, what's up, brother? He says, keep up the great work, guys. Where we bark one, we bark all. You're the man. Let's see. Piggy Mafia says, the friggin' deep state. Michael Kenny says, did it feel like it was in our atmosphere, like it was really far out past the moon? Oh, we already answered that one. That was when we had Alf on the line. Okay, so I can get rid of this article now. And we did look at the Jupiter one. Now, here is an article talking about this, going under the assumption that this was, in fact, a Stargate. Now, this is a photo that people have sent me before, guys. I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to say that this is not real. I bet you, these guys sitting in these ruins are real, but this is quite literally like the Stargate from the movie Stargate. So I don't think this is a real picture. But yeah, they're talking about the Gulf of Aden here, and it kind of just rehashes everything. And they actually call it the city of Aden. It's now called the city of Aden. Okay, so they've changed the name. Some history on the Gulf of Aden, some history on the magnetic field covering the Earth. Also talking about some of the energy from the solar system. Now, this one is nuts, dude. Okay, this one is nuts. This woman right here, Dr. Claudie Hagnier, she was a French astronaut. She was a doctor, and she went to the International Space Station in 1996. Oh no, excuse me. She was an astronaut in 96 and went to the ISS in 2001. And it claims that she was studying how humans adapt their motor and cognitive skills and weightlessness and monitored astronauts from the ground. Later on the Mir, she performed experiments in physiology, developmental biology, fluid physics, and technology. This is all according to the European Space Agency. Now, she attempted to take her own life. Although she was a very stable individual from the people who knew her, there was a suspicious fire at the Pasteur Institute where Dr. Hagnier had been conducting her human alien DNA research hours before her suicide attempt. Now, there's no sauce on this, okay? There's nothing to back up the fact that she was working on human alien DNA research. But that's just what it says in this article. And it also says that she did try to attempt suicide. Now, said she had to be forcibly restrained after screaming, "Earth must be warned." Now, I bring this up because this is a story that I have heard repeated over and over again. And this is the perfect example of something that it's, although interesting and, maybe fun to talk about, there's absolutely nothing to back it up. I know that this woman is real. I know that the work that she did is true, but I don't know that she... I don't know that this is true, this stuff. All right, so moving on. Just thought that was interesting. Now, there was a thread on Reddit about this. It gets kind of funny, people just talking about what happened. That was the pictures of that. Oh, yeah. This is the CERN article I wanted to talk about. CERN Large Hadron Collider opened up interdimensional Stargate portal in the Gulf of Aden. Mysterious alien UFO spacecraft came through it. And this is according to people. And they're just talking about what happened here and the theory about it. And so I guess it doesn't give any type of sauce other than to say that it was other people on YouTube making videos. But it does highlight the global intelligence files and takes it back. It looks like the video that it was talking about has been removed. Now, I don't know. Here, this would be a good one to look up. I mean, I guess I just assumed that Admiral Maximov was a real guy because he was talked about in the Stratfor Global Intelligence Files, but let's look him up. Yeah, he was born May 15th, 1956. He's a retired officer of the Russian Navy. All right, well, yeah, that is real. That is real. Cheryl Jackson says, "Stay strong, guys. Joshua 1-9. Great show tonight." Hey, thank you for that. I appreciate that. God bless. And then we have Striff Tassal, last first in backwards. If that makes you feel uncomfortable, you should try going out on a clear night with 3rd gen night vision. Oh, man.
That'd be amazing.
I wish I had some night vision goggles. I looked online to buy some sometime, but they are thousands of dollars. To get the good ones that you can see things, like I've seen incredible videos taken with those. Things that you cannot, you can't
What are you just
explain.
looking in the sky?
Just look into the sky. You can,
Right, I've
because
seen
they
those
can
videos.
they can see in a much clearer spectrum of invisible light, and you can see things that you can't see with other night vision goggles. Also, Dana just said Kevin Bacon killed it in Apollo 13. He sure did. I love Kevin
I don't remember
Bacon.
that movie.
You don't remember Apollo 13, dude? It was
I
a great
remember the movie, but I don't remember Kevin Bacon's part in it. Would he die? Is that what he's making fun of?
No. He lived. He lived. He was just really
I
good.
thought he was doing. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so this right here, and this is another thing that I wanted to talk about. This was covered in Pravda, okay, which is a Russian, I believe it's a Russian government-affiliated publication, but said WikiLeaks cables come into play. According to this report, they go and they talk about it. I don't think that they put in any additional information. Filled with Hope. So Hope says, love this show. Do more woo-woo shows, please. Okay. All right. I think I might. I do enjoy this stuff. It's fun to talk about. But yeah, so Pravda, they talk about it. Now, this one right here, topsecretwriters.com. I don't know why they think that they are the authority on this, but it says that WikiLeaks goes off the deep end with the Gulf of Aden Stargate claim. So no mention of the fact that it's not WikiLeaks making this claim. It is the people at Stratfor Global Intelligence.
I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
I saw somebody say something in the chat about when Elon shoots his rockets, they had that same corkscrew. You know what I'm saying? So what are your thoughts on that?
I haven't seen
Nothing?
it.
No, when he does his shoots his rockets off?
Well, let's look it up. Yeah.
You've never seen these?
Space
Dude, it looks crazy.
rocket launch. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we can find an explanation.
It's not doing that reverse thing where it goes one way, and that's the craziest video that we've watched. In my opinion.
You know what? I have seen this, but this looks different. This looks different to me than what we were watching with the spirals.
Yeah.
Okay, so here it goes. It goes off. You guys, we are going to full screen. Beautiful, but already very different. Very different. Bursting through the cloud cover.
You could see it. You'd be like, that's a missile. Like, I get that.
Yeah, this looks like a missile to me.
Yeah. You could see vaguely. You could see the tail it has.
Yeah, I could see actually the thrusters, the afterburners or whatever they're called. But I'm not seeing any spiral.
Somebody asked about Jared Kushner going to Bilderberg meetings. I saw that Trump handed over the wall to him too.
Well, I think that Donald Trump would be a fool if he didn't send an envoy, at the very least, to those Bilderberg meetings. You need to know what your enemies are planning for.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Kushner's part of a particular class of people, too. Okay. There's some smoke that looks... I mean, there's some illumination to that. But that's clearly coming from the thrusters right there.
Mm-hmm.
Different type of... Now, you saw there was, one type of thruster that just ended and another began. So that smoke ended. Look at how that does. That does keep some brightness. And there is another thruster right there. Different type of rocket. And it is starting to look a little different. But... wow, what do you think makes it blue like that? Different, though. It is different. Not the same thing.
Because you're about.
That is weird.
Look at that, bro. Well, you're about 8 seconds ahead of me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's different.
But what if you saw that? You would be like, what is that?
I would definitely say, what the heck am I looking at?
Like the...
Yeah, the way it's like puffing out like that. But it's not a spiral.
No.
All right, I'm willing to think that there's a possibility that the explanation that we're given is possible. And I mean, it's totally possible that could happen. But I don't know. I don't know, you guys. All right, Thomas, what do you think?
I'm not convinced that that's a missile. There's no way.
Yeah, I'm not convinced either. Well, I think it's time to take some calls.
All right.
I think we're ready to take some calls, you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and throw the link to get on the Zoom call in there. Let me just make sure I take care of the super chats before that. Computer Guru says, Earth Files Antarctica world-renowned investigative journalist Linda Moulton Howe, I respect Linda greatly, just released mind-blowing film with military ops, whistleblowers confirming moon base, off-world travel, 62-acre facility in Antarctica. Linda's done a couple of really good shows with some whistleblowers talking about Antarctica. It's been a couple of years since I've seen one, but I will definitely look into that. Southern Ninja says, someone said earlier that is what a fuel dump looks like. Okay, a fuel dump. All right, appreciate that. Appreciate the super chats, guys. There is the link to the Zoom call. Please feel free to join the conversation. You guys, everybody gets 2 minutes if you've got a question or a comment, just in case we've got a lot of people that want to join, as we have had in the past. So I appreciate you guys keeping the thoughts and feelings of everybody else. The trailing object did leave some spirals. Tanette, I saw shapes, but I didn't see the spiral in the same way that we saw those other spirals. Like I said, I'm willing to accept the official explanation, but I'm just not convinced yet. Laptop, we've got our first caller on the line. Laptop, looks like you're getting your microphone set up there. But thank you for calling, and as soon as that gets set up, then we're happy to have your question or your comment. Well, Thomas, okay, Aaron's on the line too. Looks like Aaron's got his microphone working first. So, Aaron, you're on the air. What's going on, brother? Maybe he's still getting his. Aaron, are you there? Aaron. Aaron, I can hear you. Sounds like your microphone's working. Maybe Aaron's headset's not working.
Oh, hello?
Hello, Aaron, you're on the air, buddy. What's going on?
I remember that spiral. Now, it happened, I think, right before Obama.
Yeah.
With his trip. And there was a lot of, it's because he's the savior and this is a sign from God. There was a lot of that.
There was. I remember.
And but I have seen a lot of, at the time I researched it, and there are a lot of missiles that do look like that, but it is very uniform. So it's
Are you saying in general it's very uniform? Like, is that what we saw from that Norway spiral, or these are too uniform?
The Norway one is almost too uniform.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Because I did some research into it when it first happened, and I was like, okay, maybe. But I thought that it was a little too uniform to just be a missile.
Yes. Have you seen this, Red Pill?
I think you showed that another time, but did you build that, or did you get that from somewhere?
No, this is the tester's model.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I saw it. I know. I used to build models when I was a kid. I was very cool.
Yeah, and it's from Bob Lazar's own measurements and whatnot and recollections.
I would love to have Bob Lazar on the program. I met Bob once years ago. It would be so cool if I could get him on the program.
Yeah, and his name is almost Laser, so that's kind of
cool.
A very credible man, very credible story.
I believe. I definitely, I'm really happy that they decided to do that documentary after all these years, because it helped his case. And if you want to talk about credible witnesses, Bob Lazar is probably, in my mind, the most credible, because he didn't rush out to try to capitalize on it. I mean, he clearly had information he wanted to get out to the public, and then he wanted to get on with his regular life. And a lot, they did not want to allow him to do that. And even still, years later, they're raiding his shop in Michigan. Just absolutely incredible.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I love your show. You are the you remind me a little bit of what's his name, Ben Shapiro, but a less insane Ben Shapiro.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad that you're always calling in, Aaron, and that you're watching because you've always got something cool to add.
Great show.
Thank you, buddy. All right, we'll talk to you soon, Aaron.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. All right, so let's see. We had, I believe, Mike next. Mike, are you there? Nope. Heather, are you there? Nope. Alexandria, occasional Cortex, another regular of the show.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, AOC. How about yourself?
Oh, fantastic. And I love the topics we're getting on tonight. And hello, Thomas, by the way. Love both your shows, of course.
What's up, buddy, man?
But you hit a couple things close to home. I worked on this project. Have you heard of the citizen hearing on disclosure?
I have. Steve, what's his name? Yeah, Bassett. Steve Bassett. Yes, I have.
So Steve Bassett, myself, and this guy Ruben Langdon, that we're living together in the same house. Bassett was couch surfing while we were working on this event. And so I ended up working with Linda Moulton House for that whole week of the hearing. And I was mostly helping on the press side and on the documentary side of it. So I was filming myself, Steve, and Ruben. Were joined by Jeremy Corbell.
Yeah, who did the Bob Lazar documentary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the four of us went and did the advance. We shot the National Press Club, did B-roll. I shot the stuff that ended up getting filmed or getting shown on Rachel Maddow. And she called it, this was before fake news was a thing. She said our hearing was fake 6 times in her 6-minute piece that she showed, but she played it. She put it out there. Dr. Edgar Mitchell was the sort of the spokesperson for that event too. So I did another event, but anyway, it was very interesting. The event itself, it was really disclosure. I mean, these were 40 expert witnesses, generals, colonels, people in the flesh with radar evidence, video evidence, experiential evidence, memories, and recalling stories of what they saw, eyewitnesses that were all not just credible, but at the top of credible.
Right.
And in charge of these departments and jurisdictions, and the second in command of the FAA, in charge of all the American airspace, John Callahan. Yeah. He brought the video evidence and whatnot of the nuclear missile sites being all the nuclear warheads being shut off at the same time while there was UFOs overhead. So anyway, I just thought I would drop into that because
I appreciate that
coming close to home. And thanks for bringing even better and better topics to discuss on your show. It's wonderful. Thanks.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching, and thank you very much for letting us know what you were involved with there. That's very cool. I followed that closely at the time.
Oh, and Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
I'm going to have T-shirts that say that before too long.
All right.
AOC.
Good night, guys.
Thanks, buddy. We'll talk
Later,
to you soon.
man.
All right. And Heather, I believe you were ready. I saw you there. Are you there, Heather?
I'm here.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for calling in. What was your question or comment? Oh, you muted again. Heather, I just unmuted you, or I tried to unmute you. Heather, if you can unmute again. There you go. You're unmuted.
All right, I won't touch nothing.
Okay. What was your question?
I watched a movie last night that was 3032. It's a 2019 movie just made, and it's about CERN.
What's it called?
3032.
3032. Okay, I'll have to. I'm gonna pull it up here while we're talking about it. Tell us about the movie. What was that?
There was these astronauts traveling to Utopia, I think it was called, and they were like watching the Earth explode
Oh, wow.
and no more Earth. It was pretty cool.
Okay. Oh, I think it says 3022. 3022.
Yeah, it was crazy movie. I just wanted you guys to check that out, and that's all I have to say.
Awesome.
Love you guys.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I'll definitely check it out. All right, Heather. Well, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Sure, no problem.
All right, we'll talk to you. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
All right, Mike, are you there? You're up next, Mike.
Is my mic on?
Yep, it's working now. It's working now. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the show you had the other day with Zen Garcia.
Okay.
He has some interesting theories. What do you think on some of his theories about being enclosed, like in an enclosed system?
You know, I mean, I'm not you're talking about flat Earth?
Well, no, like just being enclosed, like that there's you can't go to outer space, like
Well, okay, I'll tell you how I think. I personally believe in the I guess it's the is it the heliocentric model? I mean, the idea that space is out there. But I also believe that NASA and the government have faked evidence of us going to space. So, like, based on that alone, I think that it calls into question the whole idea. I don't know if it's more that I have just spent my whole life, like, imagining going to space, and it's difficult for me to imagine that there's anything else out there, or if I just haven't delved into everything else enough. It's a relatively new subject to me, and there's a lot of compelling arguments, and that's why I had David on, and that's why Zen was on here last night. Zen has he's clearly done his research, and there is a lot of information out there, and he's written about it a lot. So I guess I'm still in the midst of my journey in terms of that. How about yourself? What do you think?
Well, I watched the whole thing with Dave Weiss, Dirt, and he makes a lot of compelling arguments that I can't debunk.
Yeah.
Like a lot of his stuff, it's like, damn, it seems to pan out as true, but it's like, I just can't wrap my head around it. It just seems, I don't know, maybe it's cognitive dissonance or something. I'm having a hard time coming to grips with it.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much the same thing that I was thinking about it. Dave's a great guy, and he's very passionate about, his beliefs. I've spent a lot of time since we did that show watching videos on, both sides of the argument. And I think that what I need to do is to have someone with a deeper scientific background, someone with, perhaps a history in, space or, physics maybe, to come on and try to make competing arguments to the things that Dave said, because it really did blow my mind, a lot of that stuff. There's another great guy named Crow777. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah, that guy's. Yeah, he filmed a wave.
The moon wave. Yeah.
Yes.
He is going to be coming. He's going to be coming on the show here very soon too. Actually, he just sent me an email today. I saw it right before I came on the air tonight. But so yeah, I think it's a fascinating topic, and the more that we examine it, the more that we try to answer these questions within ourselves, the better off we are. So I don't think that it's going to stop anytime soon.
I think you're touching on like the biggest red pill that no one wants to touch. Like they don't want to touch that pill because it's too far out there.
Exactly.
And and YouTube is even coming after channels. So maybe have the guest talk about it rather than yourself. So it's like, I'm just interviewing rather than covering it yourself, because they do admit to censoring that topic.
Yeah, no, you're completely correct. And that's definitely the approach I want to take. I don't want to make my channel about any one thing in particular. I want it to be about a continual search for knowledge, the expansion of our consciousness. And I think that I'm hoping that by doing that, I can keep myself out of, out of the realm of channels that get deleted, because it seems like when channels cover particular subjects to any degree above just casually, then they really put themselves in the crosshairs.
I just want to say you guys are doing a great job, both you and Thomas. I love both of your shows, so keep
Thanks,
up the good
Mike.
work, guys.
Mike, I really appreciate the call, buddy. Thanks for calling.
You're welcome. All right. Bye.
All right, we'll talk to
Have
you.
a great
Bye-bye.
night.
All right. Anybody else want to call in? I'm going to go ahead and drop the link yet again. And man, good callers tonight, you guys. You guys are doing great. I appreciate you bringing it. Let's see. So, yeah, you know, one of the arguments against human space travel that I've heard, Thomas, has been the idea of the Van Allen radiation belt. I think it was Peapod that said something about it in there. The Van Allen belt it's a radiation belt around the Earth, and I believe that NASA has stated that it's impossible for us to pass through it because it would kill us, the amount of radiation. And the amount of shielding that we'd have to have on our spaceships, it would stop us from being able to even fly a rocket.
Yeah, but we don't trust NASA.
No, never a straight answer. You know, and then you look at the videos of, like, you know, the moon landings and stuff like that, and it's like a wire frame, you know, a tinker toy with tinfoil wrapped around it. And we do have another caller. Looks like Diana's here. Diana, you're on the air with Thomas and Red Pill. I'm gonna unmute you, Diana. See if it works. Nope. Okay. Well, Diana, go ahead and get your microphone working. Bales is also on the air. Looks like Bales is getting their microphone set up too. But whoever gets the microphone working first, you guys can go ahead and jump into the conversation. I appreciate everybody calling in. Let me see if I missed anything over here. Michael Buck says, just keep trying to prove it to be a ball, and you'll finally realize it's flat. If we can see too far, the model is wrong. That is one thing that I will give them. The curvature of the Earth, in terms of like engineering and how far you can see, you should not be able to see as far as you can. And that one I can't wrap my head around. You know, the only other thing that I can think is that the Earth is way bigger than what we're being told. Yeshua's Chosen is also here, and Trisha Q Proof for life. Whoever gets their microphone working first can jump into the conversation. Appreciate y'all calling in.
Hey.
Trisha, how are you?
I'm fine. I was going to have you save me for last, but last is almost here. I just wanted to say I'm from Texas, and we started. I'm not on video, am I?
Yeah,
yes.
I can turn it off for you if you want.
Please do.
Okay.
Good grief.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, I live here in Texas. I'm 90 miles from Port Neches. I saw what happened there. I'm so sorry for all of you people who live around that area. My son works for TPC. He talks to the gentleman who was on the TV, Troy, who is the spokesman for TPC, and he's devastated. He could hardly enjoy Thanksgiving. And it affects everybody everywhere.
You're talking about the explosion?
About the explosion in Port Neches, yes, at
Okay.
that plant. You know, I saw that part where it looked like something really huge flew into the air. Well, it was it was a tower. It looked like it just got it.
It was like a silo
launching. It was like a rocket launch.
Mm-hmm.
It shot up and then came back down, and of course blew up everything around it. It's sickening. And so anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, and I also wanted to say I really have enjoyed your show tonight. I got in too late to understand last night's show.
Yeah.
But,
well, you can always watch the replay.
You got that right. But anyway, I thank you, and I just wanted to say I'm so happy about your Uncle Paul.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't say it out loud yet, everybody, but Uncle Paul is okay, and we can't be more happy than that.
And one last thing to your mother. I really think she's really awesome for supporting you. I have 3 kids. They turn me off when I talk about this stuff, and I have nobody to talk to except you guys. So,
well, thank you so much. I'm
nice
sure.
to have you, and you can turn me off now.
All right, Trisha, thank you for the call. I do appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and we will talk to you next week.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, up next was Bales. Bales, are you there? Bales, it looks like your microphone's turned on, but I'm not hearing anything. Diana, are you there? You'll have to unmute, because I can't unmute you for some reason. All right, in lieu of Bales and Diana, how about Yeshua's Chosen? Yeshua's Chosen, are you there? Can you unmute your microphone?
Hey,
Yeshua's Chosen, you're on the air.
God bless you. Can you hear me?
I can, yes. God bless you as well. What was your question or comment?
I'm excited to be talking to you, and I want to say God is good. And I just wanted to clarify a previous conversation that to support the Israel people, it's a given. The Israel people, the government, there's bad in all sections of government, including our country.
Yes.
And there's a wave of anti-Semitism just sweeping the Christian channels, the YouTube channels. But there's evil in every government. And we have to be so careful that those are God's chosen people. That is the stump, the root that we come out of. And we're admonished not to berate that stump, that origination that we come from. And God bless you. I just wanted to leave that thought.
Well, God bless you as well. Thanks for your call, Yeshua's Chosen. I completely agree. You know, this is the point that I was trying to make when Thomas, I think we were both trying to make the same point. There is a difference between the people of each nation and the government, and specifically, you know, the cabal element that exists within each government. And, you know, it's a far cry from the actual people themselves, you know, and, you know, even though people of, you know, every nation are to one degree or another brainwashed and buy into the mainstream media and the mainstream line of each of those evil elements in their own government. So thank you very much for your call, Yeshua's Chosen. I appreciate it, and God bless.
Thank you. God bless.
Yep. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, and let's see. The app to call in is Zoom, you guys. It is Zoom. Download Zoom on your phone or your computer. Let's see. Bales, are you there yet? Diana, are you there yet?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Diana. How are you?
Good. Thank you, guys. It's awesome to get in contact with you. I called the other day. I'm the lady that recommended the emotion book.
Oh, yeah, the emotion code. Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Good to talk to you again.
I know. It's great to be back in this show.
Appreciate it. What was your question or comment?
No, I was just wanted to point something out. And I believe it's good to throw it out there, you know, because we get busy. Like, there's so much information going on from all different directions. Mm-hmm. But what if it's not good versus evil? What if it's good and evil?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? What if it is what versus evil?
It's not good versus evil. It's good and evil. Perfectly balanced.
Ah, okay. I like that. You know, I mean, I think you're right. I think that obviously good and evil must coexist. And if you think about it in terms of our lives, you know, the experiences that we go through, you can't appreciate the good without also knowing the bad. You know, I mean, like the sweetest fruit will never be that sweet if all you've had is super sweet fruit. You know, you've got to have an occasional lemon in order to appreciate it.
That is correct. And think about it, like the all-knowing God or higher consciousness needs to be everything in order to know everything. Mm-hmm. So therefore, there is a need for whatever condition to exist in order to provide information to the higher consciousness. And we exercise our free will by, like, whenever we're exposed to a particular set of information, how we irradiate, how we resonate, that resonates with us.
Mm-hmm.
So you label it, and good, bad, you name it, and anything in between. You create a chain, and that change only goes so far. So the object is just to be an observer, and not get your emotions involved in the process.
Not to feed into it.
Exactly. Just know it's there, but try not to just like get hooked to it by your emotions, because that's why our bodies tend to crave these kind of substances, and we are always hooked to, like, we're like addicts in this kind of information, like you want to learn a lot, you want to like keep that adrenaline going somehow.
I think you're right. That makes a lot of sense. It's one of those things that I try to tell people, is to, allow yourself to learn these things, but don't get so wrapped up in it so that you get these, wild swings to and from, because of, you're allowing whatever it is that you're finding out to control your emotions and to control your physiological response. Well, listen, Diana, I appreciate the call. And we've got 5 minutes left, so we're going to move on to the next caller, but thank you so much for calling in again.
All right, guys. It was awesome. Bye-bye.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right. And I believe that Karma Michelle was next. Karma, are you there?
Hello. Can you?
I can hear you, Karma. Yeah, it looked like you cut out a little bit, but let's see how it sounds.
Oh, great. Okay, I got a headset with microphone, so I
cool.
hope this works okay. Okay, so, my first initial thing I wanted to say was about Earth versus near Earth debate. My take on it is, especially with what we're learning about the Looking Glass Project and the multi-dimensional beings, I just kind of feel like there's a lot of evidence to back up it is a multi-dimensional universe, and I think both flat earthers and square earthers could be right. Was in an elementary school. In our library, they showed this documentary with Leonard Nimoy, and he was talking about the Bermuda Triangle.
Yes.
And they had this radio show that they were showing, and a caller called in, and it was a really weird caller, and he just started talking about how, that the Bermuda Triangle was like a portal, and that everybody that went missing was fine, that they basically were in a different dimension. So now we fast forward to today, it kind of all goes into place for me. So that's how I look at it. That's why I don't fight either way. I think we all could be partially right.
I think that's an
and then
excellent
I also
point.
Thank you. And I also wanted to touch on Diana. I thought what she was saying was real too about good versus evil, but I would take it one step further and say my name is Karma, and I've learned a lot from having that name throughout my life. I mean, I hear everybody's theory on karma. I know everybody's perspective, like on that. But what I've kind of learned from it is it's not really about good or evil. That our minds and our knowledge have been able to comprehend up to that. But to me, it's more about creation versus destruction, and they do actually feed into each other. Destruction seems evil to us on this kind of linear base that we've been on for so long, but as we're going through this great awakening where our minds are opening up so much more about the multidimensional universe and stuff, I feel like Diana was saying, it's not necessarily evil.
It's necessary.
I mean, there's evil people.
Destruction and creation, it's all two parts of the same coin. Listen, Karma, thank you for the call. We've only got 2 minutes left, and we still got two people on the line, so I appreciate it, hon. Thank you for calling. All right. And next we had Albion Rising. Albion Rising, you're on the air.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Well, I'm calling from Argentina.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I'm glad you're
Yeah, I
watching.
always watch you guys. So I don't have much time. Maybe I'm going to call next time, but I just wanted to tell you, I have so much to tell you about everything you've been talking tonight.
Okay.
But I guess we're running out of time. And I just want to say hi, you guys. I love you guys. And we're following you from here.
All right. Well, that's
until
awesome.
next time, I guess.
Yeah. Call in next week. Call in next week for sure.
Yes,
We'll talk to you then.
of course.
All
I
right.
will.
Thanks
I will.
for your call, Albion.
Okay.
Thank you for the support.
Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye. All right. And finally, the last caller of the night, Nicole. Nicole, you're on the air.
I'm like, what? I hope I wasn't on video the whole time because I can't tell. I just downloaded the Zoom.
Yeah, you've been on video, but you haven't done anything weird, so don't worry.
Okay. I'm just very animated anyway, as you can tell.
You're good. You're good. Well, Nicole,
Okay.
what was your question or comment?
Well, my topic is so deep. Okay. I got two things that I need to, my ADHD, and yes, I'm going to say ADHD, mine needs to get out. I'm going to organize it.
Okay.
First thing, we need to talk about symbols. We need to talk about numbers and vibrations. We have to understand that this is a third dimensional, third density playground. And in this existence, your reality, my reality, our own projector, our own perception, we think of it like a game. We had tools that were already here provided for us. Those were, which is vibration, which is numbers, symbols, sacred geometry, alchemy, all those things. So these tools are neutral, okay? They're not positive, negative, shadow, light. They're neutral.
Sure.
That's the 0 point, right? When everybody's like, oh, we got to get back to 0. Okay. So I would love, when Q says, their symbolism will be their downfall, he's not saying all symbolism is going to be the downfall. He's saying pay attention to their symbolism because their intent behind it is the intent which makes the tool work, okay?
Yeah.
Or the machine work, or, So it's what you put behind it, because if your thoughts and what you say are electric, your intentions and your emotions are magnetic. So whatever you say and whatever you think, it's electric. And then whatever you feel behind it is going to magnetize it and pull it to you, reality, right?
Yep. I see what you're saying. Yes.
So we get these cool tools to...
Nicole, you just froze up.
Utilize in this playground, in this amazing... Oh, no!
No, you're back. You're back.
Can you still hear me?
Well, I can hear you now. Nicole, though, we're at the end of the program. We've gone over, but I want you to call back next week, okay? Because this is a great topic, and I'm totally in line with what you're saying. And we've got Bales on the line, too. But, Bales, I'm sorry, we're going to have to talk to you next time, too, buddy. Listen, thank you, everybody, for calling in tonight. I do appreciate all of you. Means a lot. Thomas, thank you for joining us tonight, my friend.
Absolutely, Bubba.
And as always, this has been RedPill78. I am the corruption detector, and this was your Red Pill News for Saturday Night Livestream. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.